Hello boys and girls, welcome back to the Retro Basement Arcade. It's been much longer than I wanted to get some videos out. I had planned to do a video on a review of the Extreme Gaming Cabinets 3.0 pinball drive, and I shot all the footage for that and promptly messed up and deleted it all. So that video did not come out as scheduled. What I'm going to do is kind of do a mini review of that once we finish with the actual goal for today, which is to replace the buttons, the flipper buttons on the cab with actual leaf switches that are LED lit. And going to kind of do something a little crazy in order to do that. When I say a little crazy, I'm not going to jack these switches into an existing config for Extreme Gaming Cabinets. I'm going to use a standalone controller, just a Bell & Howell lighting controller. In fact, here's the remote for it. You'll see something like this when you get your Extreme Gaming Cabinets PCs that have, machines that have, light strips around the back or something like that to control and change the color lights. Anyway, we're going to power those off the light strip. They're just going to be lit. When the machine's turned on, they're going to light red. They're not going to be tied into LED blinky or anything else that would cause them to change colors. Interestingly enough, what we're going to use to do that is capable of jacking into any of the type of boards that are out there. In fact, there's two different types. They have one, I'll show it to you here. They have one that is utilized for what they call an MX type configuration. I messed up and bought these first, and these will not work with the Bell & Howell lighting controller that I wanted to use. You need an actual RGB version of this, which I also have. Pull that up here, and that is this one. It says RGB on it. And I'll show you how this is going to work and go in for the replacement of the buttons. So the first thing we're going to do is have to partially disassemble our pinball machine here. Move the cover that we have. I've shown this in other videos. I'm not going to take the time to show this time. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove the screws on each side of the lockdown bar. We'll gently pull this up. If you've watched my other videos, you know I already have the wires to the Select Fire Punch It button labeled. So we'll lift this off. We'll disconnect these wires. When you lift it off gently. Underneath here, there'll be two blocks of wood with some screws that hold the glass from sliding. You undo those screws, take those blocks of wood off, and then we'll slide the glass forward to take it out of the machine. Once the glass is out of the machine, this is a 1.0 cabinet. The 2.0s are really nice that they're on a bar across that you can just tilt the screen up. I'm going to see what I need to do. Hopefully I can use just a block of wood across here to hold the screen up out of the way for me, but I might have to disconnect the screen and take it out completely. But we'll see here in a few minutes. Again, not going to show all this stuff. I'm just going to open this up so I can get to the buttons, disconnect the flipper buttons on each side, and we will be putting in leaf switches. Now, this is a example of the leaf switch we're going to use. Very simple design. The bracket for this has been 3D printed, and what happens is let me show you here. So this is the bracket, and we simply take the leaf switch with some screws and screw that onto the 3D printed bracket. These are available at a number of different sites. I actually got the template for this 3D bracket from the same site that I got the LEDs. And this is actually pretty funny. Hopefully, maybe you can see that on there if I focus into it. D'Arnos, it's a French guy that makes these, I believe. when I ordered them. But that's the site, if you want to see that on there, just Google that and it'll tell you. But there's some really funny stuff. I guess they think playing a pinball machine looks like a llama. I'm not going to speak that out loud because I don't want to get banned or anything on YouTube, but you can read the writing there. It's kind of funny. And that's a better version of the website, arnos.com, if you're interested in doing this. And there also seems to be a rather interesting graphic there above the skull and crossbones. So this guy has a really interesting sense of humor. So kind of funny. I can enjoy it. If anybody else is offended out there, well, I'm 100% Generation X, and I really don't care about anybody else's feelings from that perspective. So I would say just deal with yourself or turn the video off. I don't know. I don't care. Anyway, kind of funny to me. So we're going to go ahead and take this apart and look at the buttons that are on here. And Extreme Gaming Cabinets solders all their wiring, so we'll probably have to desolder the buttons that are on there to pull them out. And the new buttons that activate the leaf switch look like this. They're not like your standard arcade button. All they simply do is actuate the leaf switch. So that's what we're going to have. These are actual Stern buttons. I believe I got them from Betson. I think Betson, maybe Marco Specialties. I can't remember. There's a ton of places over here to buy pinball replacement parts. So that's what that is. We're going to be putting this button that'll be lit, and it'll be a leaf spring flipper. If you're getting the new Extreme Gaming Cabinets Platinum build machine with the OLED screen, it's, I believe, I don't want to misspeak. I have to check. I don't want to misspeak but I think the Platinum may have leaf switches, actual leaf switches for the machine. Again, I don't hold me to that. I believe it might. I am seriously contemplating going ahead and possibly selling this one and ordering one with the OLED screen. I'm actually, I do this every time. I always say Extreme Gaming Cabinets is the best stuff out there. There are other manufacturers that make systems, that make virtual pins, and I did my due diligence when I ordered this. I went around and played everybody's machine that I could play, and as far as quality and what it looks like and how it plays and everything, Extreme Gaming Cabinets won my business with the quality of their machine. Again, this is a 1.0. They have a 2.0 premium cabinet now, and then they have the Platinum cabinet that has the OLED, and it's a little bit wider. It's about a, maybe in the States we'd call it a 1/2 inch, but it's just a little bit wider to fit the larger OLED screen. And they changed the angle of the matrix in the back. It's kind of tilted down flat. So, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. It's just a matter of doing my due diligence again to look at everybody. Here in the States, there's a number of builders that make them. Probably Lab Arcades is one that does it. They do a few. There's another guy out there named Vic. I know he has machines out there, but I haven't been able to find anybody that has one. I have made contact with a guy in Northern Virginia that's about an hour and a half away from me that is getting one of the Rec Room World 8.0 machines. I'm going to be, once he receives his machine, he's been gracious enough to, let me come down and check it out. He actually mentioned he wanted to pack the thing up and bring it up here to my house and do a side-by-side, but there's just too much. I don't show this off, but through that door, there's just way too much to getting these machines in there. It isn't in no way worth the headache of doing that. So it's probably not going to happen. But anyway, I want to take a look at everything. I am pretty biased for Extreme Gaming Cabinet stuff. As you can see, I got the Beast deck over there. This was off the wall because I have the new 1 terabyte Extreme Gaming Cabinet's light gun drive that has been installed into this machine. There's a video on this, but it's kind of interesting to pull it off of here. There's the computer. It slots down in the slot. So I had this off there, put the drive on it. Not really going to do another whole video on this. I might show it off a little bit. I've got one little thing I'm planning to do with it. But the reason for this is so that I can continue to go through wheels and drives and things to help out with the Patreon and the in Jan's drive updater tool. If you haven't seen anything about that, then I would tell you to go back to the Facebook group and look for the post on the Extreme Gaming Cabinets drive updater tool, and join the Patreon and help out if you've got a machine, because it just makes everything better for everybody. So anyway, this is going to go back on the wall today a little bit later, but I am biased towards Extreme Gaming Cabinets stuff. Just looking around, and it's not to put any other company down. It's just there's some things that they do that I really like. And when I looked at this machine, one of the other machines I looked at was a Rec Room World machine. And a lot of the negative things that I did not personally like about their machine, they've corrected. They now have, in their newest 8.0 machine, they have, well, they do have the bigger OLED screen in that, but they also switched to solenoids. They've done a number of things that have upgraded their machines to be much more compatible, or much more comparable to an Extreme Gaming Cabinet's virtual pin. One of the things they did, they went to all plywood, right? They used to be just particle board or masonite machines. Now, same thing happened with Extreme Gaming Cabinets. I mean, they used to build their machines out of MDF as well. It was a different quality MDF, but they switched to cabinet grade plywood. They've switched from contactors to solenoids as standard in their machines. That's something that Extreme Gaming Cabinets had done a couple years ago. But in the latest setup from Rec Room World, that it looks like they have solenoids in their 8.0 machine. Like I said, I'm going to be able to go see one, get my hands on it. I'm not making any decisions until I've played a number of things. Do want to find a Lab Arcades machine to get my hands on as well. Then another big thing is the software, and there are some differences in the setup for the drives. Love the way Extreme Gaming Cabinets does it. I think it probably frustrates some people that want to be tinkers, and for those people that just want to get in there and not have a drive that's locked down that somebody can't mess up, maybe this isn't the machine for them. But there are things about the Extreme Gaming Cabinets PC that I still like, just from what I've seen on the website. I know it shouldn't bother me, but the full-size coin door that you can see here, this is an actual pinball coin door, full-size coin door. I have never seen a real pinball machine with a tiny one-slot coin door like comes on some virtual pinball machines. It just doesn't look right to me. Also, these buttons are nice and small. I mean, just regular size buttons on here. I believe the 2.0 cabinets and the Platinum, this button is actually recessed into the plywood, into the cabinet, the way that real pinball machines have them. But there just seems to be all these extra buttons on the front of some of these machines that I'm like, what? It just kind of looks crazy. The other thing is that with the Extreme Gaming Cabinets PC, the plunger lines up with the plunger on the screen when it's on. My OCD, I don't know if I can handle a plunger that is moved over here, that when you pull it back here, it comes back on this side of the screen. That seems like something really little and petty. For me, a virtual pinball machine is how much can you make this thing look like a real machine, like a real pinball machine. Now, what could Extreme Gaming Cabinets do different to make this look like a real pinball machine? Well, they could use a real pinball lockdown bar. They have these made, and they're very heavy. And there are some people that critique the screw in the side. I've never, when your hand goes here, there's no way to really, I don't know how you would feel that or let it bother you. You know, this is black. I don't really hardly notice it. They could powder coat the screw blue, and then you'd notice it even less. There's always things that improve. And if anybody's spent any time watching videos of extreme gaming cabinets on their website, you'll know that Daryl is constantly improving. If you look at where these machines were when he first started and where they are now, you know, it's night and day, really. There's so many improvements that they've made. But back to the other things that are comparable. The other thing that they still haven't done that I can't get over, they don't have a matrix in the back of the machine. That thing adds so much bling and pop and just such a light show on so many tables. I don't know how I'd feel about just having a 5 or 6 flashers back there that flash, you know, with some things. I'm not sure. But the other thing I've noticed is that Extreme Gaming Cabinets uses the acrylic, they call it Perspex, but it's really Lexan or acrylic topper that the topper video screen is either in if you have the video topper, but if not, you just have a screen that's screened with you know, screen printed graphics on the backside of the Perspex or Plexi, whatever you want to call it, up there, that just matches the graphics on your machine. I kind of think the way that the video topper is done on those others, this metal black box sticking up there, just, I don't know. To me, it might be nitpicking, but it just looks kind of generic. I'm sure you could do things and put action figures or toys or something up there to really spruce it up a little bit. But for me, again, it's how do we make this look as much like a real pinball machine as you can. Just my personal opinions on things. So anyway, I'm not going to make any decisions on what I'm going to do until I go and physically get my hands on one of the new machines. I know that the turnaround time for those guys at the machine we're talking about at Rec Room World is relatively quick. They're saying like 30 days you can have your machine. For anybody that doesn't know, they buy them like 200 at a time in bulk in China. That's why you can't customize them very much. I guess there are a couple things you can do, but most of the customizations are graphic related, like artwork type of stuff. They have a blower fan that like comes up underneath here that I guess it, you know, don't buy them if you're a kilt wearing Scotsman, or, you know, because it's going to get you're going to get blown up on. I love the way the air hits you in the face from the Extreme Gaming Cabinets blower fans, the way they do it, and the way it's so minimal and kind of hidden. You know, there were only 2 machines, I think Whirlwind and Twister, that actually had big fans up there from Williams. So it's not something normal from a pinball machine that you would ordinarily see. So the discreet way that they kind of hide the thing up there really, you know, I appreciate that. So anyway, again, I need to go check it out. I need to get my hands on it and see, you know, what I think. But nevertheless, I've been yammering on here about a number of things. So let me pause the video here and I will disassemble the machine as we talked about and get started on putting in some buttons. All right, and we're back. We've got the monitor out, the glass off, the lockdown bar off. There's another piece of wood here that the lockdown bar screws to that goes right here that I took off as well. And we're getting ready to install the button. And we have a problem, and this may make this modification something that somebody without carpentry or woodworking skills or whatnot may not want to try. I'm going to do this because I'm confident in my abilities, but the real stern buttons are a little bit too big for the 1 1/8" hole. I don't know if you can see that, but they do not go in. Let me see if I can hold it this way. Trying to hold the phone. They don't go in the whole way. they don't quite fit. So, got to make this hole in both the metal and the wood a little bit bigger to get this little lip that's in there. Now, the other thing that is interesting, I have this clamp on here to hold it in the right spot. Take that off. On the Extreme Gaming Cabinets machines, this is made so that you can loosen up the button that's here and pivot this metal up and down. If you look here, pull it up, you'll see that that hole is elongated. So one of the other things we're going to do is we're going to elongate this as well. And in order to do that, we're going to use the what's called a stepped drill bit. And I've got that in my drill here. This is one of those bits. Let's see if we can find where the writing is. It's not going to show up on here. Yeah, it might. Can't really see it. We got to go one step above 1.125 inches, which according to this drill bit is 1 inch and 7/32 to make this button fit. So what I'm going to do, put my clamp back on here, position the metal exactly where it goes. So I have something, the cabinet, we'll use the cabinet as something hard to get through the metal part. And I'm going to put painter's tape over and around the metal so that we don't scrape it all up. When you're doing this, you don't want to gouge it. You don't want to make it up. You got to be really careful when you're doing it. And then we'll pull this up out of the way and we'll elongate the hole with the bit so that we can still leverage that feature of the cabinet to make getting the glass on and off easier. So I'm going to do that. We'll pause the video and I'll drill the hole and we'll put the button in and then we'll continue from there. Okay, real quick, we've got the hole taped up. I've got the clamp on it, holding the hole so that the metal is flush right with the bottom of the hole. Got it taped off so we don't risk messing up the powder coat on the rail. Don't know if anybody's seen this before, but this is just masking tape folded in an L, so you make kind of a little sticky shelf so that any little metal pieces or anything that would come up falls down and sticks to the tape. Made one of those on the inside of the cabinet as well, if you can see that there, just so when it comes through you can do that. So anyway, I'm not going to be able to hold the phone and drill this at the same time for filming. When you're using these step bits, it's important that you get the bit up to speed. Chuck your drill down to 1 so it has a lot of torque. You don't want it to catch and grab because that will make a mess. You want it to go through and just go slow. Let the bit do the work and have a firm grip on your drill. So if you're not comfortable with doing this, I would not suggest doing this mod. But for anybody who is familiar with metal drilling or wood drilling per se, it's not really that difficult. You just gotta go slow, take your time. Okay, now the hole has been drilled. You can see why I put the tape on there, to catch all the schmutz on both the inside and the outside. You can see here. I will take a vacuum and grab some other in case it didn't come in there, but we have now drilled that out. I'll take the tape off in a minute, but we can test fit here and show that our button now fits in our hole perfectly. So I'll go get the vacuum, we'll take this off and we'll get it cleaned up and then we'll proceed. I'll do the other side and then I'm not going to film doing the other side, it's the same process. So I'll get the other side done and then we'll get back to hooking up the mod. Okay, so hole is drilled, the button is in place, our PAL nut and our bracket are on. You can see when we actuate the button, it goes in and out. Now what I've done is I just put a screw into the top of this plywood. You'll never see it through the hole. Let's see if I can get that to focus. And I have soldered the connections for the button onto this piece. Next thing I'll do is unscrew that and put it onto there and screw it in. So let me do that and we'll be right back. Okay, so what we've done is we've attached our leaf springs. We have soldered the wire connectors onto the end of there. For the connectors that went to the old LEDs, I did wrap those off in electrical tape. Don't think you can really see them much in this view. I'll show you how the action of the button works, if I can keep my hand out of there. It's not touching at the moment. We depress the button and it touches. And it makes contact, and that sets off the flippers. So what I do want to show you is how I wired this in. I haven't done wire management yet, but that white wire you see running back through there, running to that little box right there, is what's powering these LEDs. And that power cord comes around here to the back. I have a Generation 1 cab, so there's another power strip back here, but again, it has the Australian plugs in it. So I needed to get an Australian to US adapter. This one happens to have 2 USB ports in the top, which I won't use, but the power supply is plugged into the side of that adapter. So without booting the machine, as you know, we can put power to it just to test and make sure there's no screens. I mean, the screens are going to come on, but you have to press the power button to actually start the PC. So what we wanted to check is that our LED, and LEDs are very difficult to kind of show up on film. So if I get it to the side, you'll see that's glowing. So this is a red button. Red LEDs are in there. It's an actual stern cabinet button, and it looks much better in person than it does on film. So this side is complete, and I have not touched that side yet. So what we're going to do is going to repeat all these steps on the other side, and then we'll put the whole thing back together and boot it up and test and make sure it works. All right, here we go. The magic of film. We have the other side button done. So same process, soldered the connectors on and put some tape on the original power LEDs for the power for the original buttons LEDs so that they didn't short out in any way. Got it lit, got it tested. Everything's looking good. Connection is perfect. Nice little gap in there. Should work beautiful. So anyway, one thing I will, before I put the monitor back in here and fire it back up so we can actually test it, if you decide to do this, I'm showing it because it's something I'm doing and it's cool and I think it's fun. If you decide to do this, you have to be very, very careful with working around all the existing wiring. It is not difficult to snag a wire, drop something down in there, have to go get it, and mess something up. So I'm not suggesting anybody else try this or do this mod, especially if you're somebody who doesn't do this kind of stuff all the time. But just be careful. It's really possible to mess something up. Even something as silly as pushing down on the top of this button, which is an on and off switch. You can change things. So just be careful if you try to do it. I'm going to put the monitor playfield back in, wire that back up. And I'm actually, before I put this piece of wood on that's here and fully button it up, I'm going to test it to make sure it works, because I believe I can still adjust it even with the monitor just in here because of where they are. But we're going to do that, and then we'll come back and we'll show off a little how it works with the game. Kind of fumbling around here. So anyway, let me get it back together and we'll come back. Okay, guys, here we are. We're all done. And right before this clip, I told you I was going to show you what this looked like and do some testing with without the machine button back up. I actually did all that and thought I was recording, and I wasn't. So the bottom line is the machine's back together. The board and the glass and everything are back in here, and this is back on, screwed back in. We've got our lit LED buttons on both sides. Our fire select punch button is back, and everything's here together. Now, I did not have to do any adjustment to the leaf switches at all, so you really didn't miss anything. I was just simply going to show you how, without taking the playfield monitor off on a version 1.0 cab, I could still adjust the leaf switches if I wanted to, just by removing the that one wooden bracket that's under here and the lockdown bar. So anyway, we're back together. Everything works great. The responsiveness is fantastic. Much better than the other buttons I had in there. Everything works really cool. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I was going to do some other stuff. Again, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I did a 3.0 review video and had the same problem. Well, not exactly the same. Had the problem where I shot all the footage and then updated my phone on iOS and didn't have, I guess, things backed up. And anyway, I lost all that footage somehow. Still not sure how that happened. But anyway, it's gone. So the biggest difference, I'll show you this real quick, that I see is not only is there some new tables and some of the new stuff is in here for Future Pinball Pen Event, the newer version is up here. But in order to get to some of the more select themes, you go to this choose a theme menu on the wheel. And that takes you to your Vpin workshop, your favorites, and all the miscellaneous categories that you want to be in. I spend most of my time in Pup DMD tables. That's my favorite. I love Pup DMD, and the reason I love it is because you get the original back glass with it, and all the extra videos and everything are on the DMD. So for anybody who's been looking at the virtual pinball scene for the last 10 years, it used to be very common to put a monitor in here for the big DMD and then split it and have two separate videos, have video topper videos or something else, and then the DMD below it. That kind of went away 2 or 3 years ago. Extreme Gaming Cabinets took that feature off their builds and switched everything to this one bigger DMD, because that's the way everything was going. But when you use the DMD, the Pup DMD tables anyway, you kind of in a way gets back to that a little bit. I love seeing the big original back glass up there. With the videos playing on the DMD, I find I don't have to look up as much to catch those videos or catch what it wants me to do. So it's easier to keep my eye on the table and on the ball. And for me, it just, I like it. So when you look at these things, some of them are fantastic. They just, love it, absolutely love it. But anyway, so I spend most of my time in here, or let's get out of here. If either in the Pup DMD tables or the Pup Pack tables, because there's just more going on with them. The other place that I'll spend a lot of time is in the Vpin workshop tables. There's some of my favorites as well. And right here. So for Vpin workshop tables, the drive that I got came with 68 of them. As these things are released, tables are updated all the time on the Extreme Gaming Cabinets drives. So when you get your machine, any of the new tables that come out that are, I shouldn't say any, because they don't just throw everything on there, because a lot of things are reskinned and some of the tables are okay, but they're not that great. The really popular ones that come out that everybody's clamoring for get added to the drive as they go. I think I said this before, when you get an updated drive, it's not really for the new tables that are added. And I know a lot of people enjoy that, but it's really about the virtual pinball software engines and guts and everything underneath that has come out that's new, that needs updated just to be able to play some of those new tables. So anyway, gonna leave it here. I have this really bad habit of saying things that I'm gonna put out videos for, and then it takes me a long time to get the video out. So unfortunately, I'm gonna do that here again. But I think the next videos that I put out are really gonna be about how to add new tables and things to my system on the virtual pin. And I think I'm going to do the newest one that just came out from Terry Red that everybody's clamoring for. So that's just a little sneak peek. My plan is to do a video on that, show it how it's done, but then also do a kind of a PDF step-by-step guide that I will put up on the unofficial Patreon page. So if you get validated and get access to the Extreme Gaming Cabinets Patreon page, or not I keep saying Patreon. That's not right. Discord, not Patreon. My apologies. Discord page. On the Discord site, once that's done, I will try to post that up there. So I'm gonna it's not gonna just be me doing that. I'm gonna pull in a couple of the other people that routinely add tables to their machine. Full disclosure, I've not found the need to really add anything. I still haven't even played everything that's on here. So I have not added any new software yet. So I'm going to be going through that with some of the guys, and I'm going to document that process completely and do a video on it. So anyway, look for that in the future. I can't tell you when that's going to be out. It could be a couple of weeks. It could be a month or so. As my work schedule picks up now that the holidays are over, I'll have less and less time. But anyway, wanted to get this video out, show you how to put leaf switches that with LEDs on your cab, for anybody that's brave enough to do it. I was thinking about doing it for this one as well, so whenever I take it apart, I don't have to pull the wires off. If you get I'm not sure if it's this way on the premiums now on the version 2.0, whether that's a leaf switch now and not hooked up with wires. It might be. I'm pretty sure on the Platinum, you definitely get leaf switch for your flipper buttons on the cab standard with the Platinum model. So anyway, we're going to leave it here for now. That's a little sneak peek into what's happening or what the next videos might be, what we're going to be working on. And you might see a video on the new light gun drive from Extreme Gaming Cabinets. I've got that in this system and getting ready to start going through it with the Discord team, doing troubleshooting on anything that doesn't work or just going through the drive. And that still continues there with the Beast Deck or the Beast Arcade. A lot of progress being made there with the updater tool, especially around the Nintendo Switch and some other things. So might see some more videos come out around that stuff as well. Until next time, guys, enjoy. Happy pinballing.